Hello, welcome back to the stream. I am going to work today on release notes because we are expecting to ship a new version of notqmail this week. In fact, I'm expecting to stream about it next time on this stream, Thursday, my regularly scheduled time, with the help of some other people. So to do that, I'm trying to prepare everything that needs to be true first, and that is mainly the release notes at this point. So let me pop out for a second and show you what those could look like. As you may have seen in a recent stream, we are no longer constrained by GitHub Wiki. We are self-hosted. So when we have release notes, we will be able to put them here however we want. And I want to show you something I was able to do with the previous release notes that we had that made it a lot easier to look at them. And that can be seen, for example, here. Yeah, so I made an ikiwiki template. Now that we have ikiwiki, you can see it's kind of a lot of syntax here, but the thing that was happening was that we were linking a lot of places to pull requests, which we were using the full Markdown. So square brackets, link title. Link title is always a pound sign and the number of the issue, the PR, followed by a link that has that number in it. Again, hard-coded full path. And that makes it hard to, I mean, when you're looking at the release notes in a browser, it's fine. But when you're trying to write them or read them in a Markdown context, it's really noisy. And so I made a little template. And with that template, is there an example? Yeah, here's an example. Instead of hard coding number 24 and then this full path and then a 24, I can just say this is an ikiwiki directive, so 2 left brackets and a bang. Template, which one? The one that's called PR that I made. And what does it need for a parameter? It needs a number, and that's 24. And what do you get for a rendered link? You get the exact same thing, error-free, because the computer did it. That's what computers are for. And so in the Markdown file, I can just write template, 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 number, number, number. I did it for a couple of them, and have that come out the way I want. So I did the same thing with issues, which is a very similar one. Also needs a number, and also generates a full URL like so. And that's very easy to do. So once I did that, I went through and changed all the existing links to use this new way of writing pull requests and this new way of writing issues and getting the same HTML as a result. That leaves me working on the 1.09 release notes. I also made sure to set up on our website in advance of the release an RSS feed that you can subscribe to with the releases. So you could subscribe to that now, like so. And then when a new release comes out, your RSS reader will tell you. And that seems like a pretty handy thing. I also, this didn't work exactly the way that I wish it would. I also made a page called latest. What I wanted that to do is for ikiwiki to compute which is the latest release, which it can, but not, I don't think, early enough in order to be able to interpolate the value of the result into a statically generated meta redirect. I think that it doesn't happen in the right order. And so the best I could do is make a page that has a link and then you click the link, which makes me a little bit sad, but it's okay. It's not the worst. And that way we can always, we can always point people at this URL, notqmail releases latest, and it'll always go almost automatically somewhere good. So I'm working on the 1.09. And for that, I am going to pop over to this branch. And just make sure everything's really getting built. And before I go any further, I can't remember, did I do anything to the config file? No, okay. Okay, so what's different between here and the main branch? I put a little bit of stuff in doing releases from my sync up last week with one of my co-maintainers who had done the last release. So I got some notes from that conversation. And also he's going to join us on Thursday while I follow his notes and carry out the release process with him observing and stopping me in case it turns out there were other details that we need to note down as well. Ultimately, we'd like to automate the release process as much as possible. Not that we want to be making releases every week, I don't think, but if it were easy to do it, we would do it more often. And this has been way too long, so it's interesting to make it easier. And besides that, I have the 1.09 release notes in progress, and I want to work on that for the next hour or so. Make sure I don't have any old state around. I want to work on this one. And make it as organized as I can. So right now I can say, I don't need to, yeah, I guess I'll leave that. Right now I can say, we believe we're going to do the release on Thursday. So I'll say 19 October 2023. You can see that's been a long time. We do have a lot of changes, so that's nice. But I have to organize them because I want our release notes to be comprehensible, basically, is what I want. So since the last one, this is now where it should point. Uh, yeah, you know what? I don't want it to say our wiki. I want to say see about. Yeah. And I want the old pages to say that too. Because we used to have on the main wiki page of the GitHub wiki, it wasn't just this, it was this followed by this. And I recently extracted the rest of it into an about page, which is actually what I want to point people at. So over here, I want to say about, and actually for that matter, it's good we switched before we had so many releases. There we go. Okay. That's good then. What else do I need to borrow? Yes, so one main thing I wanted to change from the last time I wrote release notes, you can see in 1.08 and 1.07 for that matter, the first one, is that when I was reviewing all the changes, I would pull out a theme or themes. Like how would you group the changes that we seem to have focused on this time? And that took some effort, and also I think the themes are going to be pretty repetitive. So like the first one it had been a long time since anybody maintained this code, so fix the builds and make packaging easier. But the second release, and I think this is just always going to be, like this is going to be on our radar for a long time until we change the way the code is structured and how many tests we have and what our CI auto builders are doing. Until then, I think these are going to always be themes, and they're not always going to be the only themes. And in fact, in this release, they are not. So what I decided was we have a page about things that are goals. What are our goals? What are things that are not goals for us? These ones. But the ones that are goals, I would expect, if we really believe them, that every commit we make serves at least one of the goals. And maybe it's hard to say which one it serves more than which other one, or two or three. But it should be pretty easy to just put these and then find commits that relate to that. And so that's what I'm working on with the draft of 1.09. And for us to see that, we need to go to my local instance. And here's 1.09 as I'm working on it. Yeah. There, that's starting to look like what I'm doing. Okay, so this is 1.09 in progress. You'll notice if you go to the page, again, this is my local instance. So when this is all true, when the release is released, the notes will go on the website. And you'll be able to go to latest, and it'll take you to 1.09. Or if you subscribe to the RSS feed, 1.09 will be in it. So that's all in shape. And now I have to organize what's here. So this goes where I want it to go. We talked about patches. I kind of want to improve the formatting of those tables. Write that down. Notqmail.org. Table formatting. I have some better formatted tables from another ikiwiki site, and I could borrow the styling for that, but it's not urgent. Yes, so a theme that we should rarely have, but that we have in this one, is that there's a regression fixed. So let's start using our new shortcuts to say what we want to say here. 147 is not there, 229 is here. Yeah, so that's a regression. Grab this one, bring it up to this section. Whoops. Right, and instead of writing 229 in this extremely verbose way, I'm trying to think if I want the dates in here at all. I'm going to take them out at the end. We created this bug in 1.08. 229. So I want to rephrase this as template PR equals, no, ID equals PR, number equals 229, and then get rid of this. Closing template ID equals issue equals 147. Yeah, and we have a couple other numbers that are yeah, a couple more PRs that are not yet merged that we'll have to do later, but that we were able to validate using those PRs, using the testing that became possible with the addition of a new tool. So I'm going to delete this for now because it's nothing that needs to be in the release, but this does. So let me set up a keystroke like so. So that I can very easily update. There we go. And you can see 229 here points to the pull request 229, and it's formatted the way we want locally. And 147 points to the issue 147. Good. So I don't know if I want to be keeping this, but we'll see. I'm probably going to take off the dates. That was just to help me make sure I accounted for everything. So the next kind of thing I want to look for is, I did this one already. Yeah, I actually took out the date already. We had a number of pull requests that addressed a particular compiler warning. So the overall effect is that the warnings have been driven considerably down. But I don't think we need to call them out individually. We can just link to them and somebody could say, well, what were they, if they care. And this was about unsigned pointers and signed pointers. This was about another one, parentheses. Yep. So I want to look for in this sea of changes, because it's a lot of changes. That's another reason we want to release more often. I want to look for things that can be grouped together. But before I do that, I think it will help me if we just generally change all those pull request links and issue links to the new template format. I know that I want to do that anyway, and I think my life will be easier if I do that sooner than later. So let's see. So we got a clean Git tree. We got a lot of links that have this. And what I generically want to do is for any line, for every line in the file, globally, in case there's multiple links on that line, I want to look for this kind of a pattern and replace it with the template link. So let's see if we can iterate on that. Let's get a grep that's a little more precise but still works. And then we can start turning that into a sed, is my thought process. So I want to look for, I guess it's, let's cd into here to make this a little easier. I want to grep for, I think I can say that literally. And then 0 through 9, more than one or more. I'm going to have to capture, but first I want to make sure I can match. And then I need to say where I'm grepping, of course. Okay, that's not right. I might need to escape that. This guy? No. I might need to do that one. Yeah, we're in the guess and check phase of regular expression formation. Maybe this needs to get grouped. Or maybe it's too overzealous. What if I leave out the square bracket part? What if I leave out this? What if I leave out this? Okay, now we're getting some matches. And I would guess this is the same. Oh, wow, no, okay. Considerably different. So we do need to group that into a thing. And like that, still good? No. With a backslash? No. Oh, like this. No? My regular expression, foo, is poor today. Suggestions from the audience are welcome. I would have thought that that would work. So I have a numeric character. Yeah, maybe I had it right the first time. Maybe that's why it was working before. And maybe like this. I really want it to be more than one, but I guess that'll do. Okay, and then tighten it up some more, because that'll be anything with a date also. I really want this to have to appear there. many times can this happen? Maybe I could do it within Vim, actually. Let's try that. I was thinking sed, but maybe this could be a good way. So $. Do I have any issues in here? Just a couple. So let's change those first, and then we can kind of blindly consider that the rest are PRs, I think, and then we'll do a diff at the end. So then this is 142, but it's an issue. Template ID equals issue, number equals 142. Issue. Yeah, and that one will have to stay as it is. It's got all that query string stuff. Okay. Then that leaves a bunch of pull requests. Hmm, hmm, hmm. It would be really cool if I could automate this. If I could capture it's no longer matching. Yeah, a long time ago, stopped matching. Uh, this is that's still a backslash, yeah, and then that is still that, and then group me some 0 through 9s. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh. So not a plus, just a star. Oh, okay. What about in here? In here? Guess so. I really wish I knew why that plus didn't work. Do I have to backslash it? I do. Okay, that's what I want. Followed by, so I'm capturing the number, followed by, and yeah, all right, bracket. This is much more helpful to generate this. And then a literal left, and then a and then again a 0 through 9. Yeah. 0 through 9 plus, and a close. Yeah. So whenever I see that, um, the most intuitive thing in the world, I've captured with these parentheses, I hope, the number, and then I can replace that with some text. So let's try. Right. I'm just popping around these ones, yeah. And then bring it. Hey now, can I get that back? Okay. Whew. Did not want to have to figure that out again. Let's go back and turn this into a substitute command. Let's see if we have some luck. And before we do that, this is all local. So I just want to keep the issue change that I made. Very well. Now, bring back the search, get to the beginning of the line, and see if I can turn this into a substitution command. Not super easily, so let's copy with my mouse. And paste. Not quite. Yep. Oh, and I want to do it globally, so %s. That. Whenever I see that, replace it with, this will just be a quick test, with the pattern. Yeah, I put all those numbers in. So undo, and we want to replace it with, instead, this is a pull request, template ID equals PR, number equals that, square brackets. I think that worked. Do we have any remaining occurrences at github.com? Just those. Okay, and then in this case, I will actually do a commit. Convert hard-coded full PR URLs to template. And we should see, still looks good here. Okay. So back to what we were trying to do, which was coalesce these changes. Two jobs again. One, any commits that can kind of go together. That can be a one-line thing, like fixed a bunch of compiler warnings. Or, and we want to wind up putting things in the right categories, whatever that means. So let's go back to the top in this less noisy file and see what we can do. So missing system headers. Let's look through here for headers. I feel like this is kind of a theme of a sort. Right, so these were used undeclared. Now they're being declared. Do we have anything else like that? Anything else about undeclared? 146. Let's compare those, 146 and 237. Add prototypes for our own functions. That's kind of related. 129 and 126. So this might be one group of things. Scan.h prototypes, that's for our own code. They go from being extern, no argument list of any kind. Oh, and some of them just go away. I missed that too. To specified types. So that's something. And how does that compare to, for example, 46? Is this like a blanket PR? No. This is 3 commits. Okay, yeah, we didn't bring in standard IO. We did turn on this build option in CI. That's cool. That makes me wonder, do we have any other ones turned on in CI? This is in just here. Just those so far. I did knock down some more warnings. So I wonder if I should do a PR to do the same thing in CI. Write that down. Use CI. Enable all the warnings that we fixed. We should just build like that on the auto builders. Enable more warnings. Good idea. Thanks for telling me. So I'm gonna group these. And then these. What was happening in 146? To understand this one. Those are the auto builders. Unistandard, unistandard. This is stat. Unistandard says stat. Guess it was for rename. Right, he didn't include standard IO for rename because we're using a function called puts still. Okay, so then I think we have 2 things here. And I want to stop doing that. And I've processed these. Code add missing system headers for that one. Other declared function. Now we can combine. Oh, yeah, there we go. And then this is one. Prototypes. Scan.h. .h. And just join those lines. That looks pretty okay. Right. What happened to stir dupe? We had our own version of it. So replace an alloc with our stirlen and our stir copy with just a stir dupe. Just like that. Okay. So the theme here is like use system functions. I don't know why we did that one. I think we have other stir copies, but we did that one. So where else did we use system functions in place of locally grown ones? This one is pretty similar. So 103 and 130. And the custom allocator, the whole thing. Just use malloc. Yeah, we're doing this now. Mm. Okay, what does 103 look like? Is it a straight delete? It must not be. We must be changing our call sites. So instead of stir copy, instead of byte diff, memcomp. So byte diff goes away. It no longer gets bundled into stir.a. And then byte equal, instead of being the negation of byte diff, is a memcomp. Just inline right there. Not worth documenting, I guess so. Okay. So then for these three, uh, the custom allocator is, yeah, these aren't exactly the same. These are their own things. They're just similar, so they're next to each other. These are already kind of, yeah, so let's stop calling it like so. Start doing that. Just make a little place to know how far I got. I don't know if this is a title that I want. A lot of things are reducing the cost of maintenance. Okay, here's a little category. Things like the register and other kind of similar notations. So several classes of compiler warning. Remove the register, and then I think we also had other attributes. This one. Anything else about attributes or extraneous keywords? This is kind of like a compiler warning. Yeah, just next to it is fine. Reduce marginal cost of development. Okay, I was going to say that. So then let's take all of these. Put them in there. Okay. And then we had add some tests. Email send job and cryo q.h. I think that's right. Yeah. Add some tests. That's a good one. Okay. Regression fixed. Let's do this. Make it clear to myself even what I'm doing. There. That's what I'm doing. That helps to look at. It's a little tedious, but it's really worth the effort because people like with code, people will read this many more times than we will write this. Okay, let's keep working through our uncategorized. The custom error, where's that one? Yeah, oop, there it was. I have it under sensible defaults, but it should go under interfaces because that's what it does more. Email queue, extend interface. That reminds me. Rephrase starting with affected program. Rather sensible. So you'll see we have some changes that look like QMail inject, do something. And then sometimes it's about a program, but it's in the middle of the sentence. So I would like to lead, when it's about one program, I'd like to lead with that one. So there's a little note to myself. So interfaces to make extensions possible. There's one. Right, and it has a synonym, which we might even have on our website. I don't have search turned on, do I? But it's here. Come here, marker. Want to write a note to turn on search on website. In q.org table formatting, enable search. I happen to know that I need to look at the patches page, and I'm thinking about Flavio Corti. Is it listed here? Custom. Okay, so we weren't maintaining, whoops, we weren't maintaining any locally rebased version of that. So what's the best way to refer to it? That's probably good. So in the PR, we make the initial commit byte for byte the way the upstream patch was, and then on the proposed branch, follow with some commits that make it build, make it write, etc. for us. But so this is a pseudo commit by the author of the patch, and I think, yeah, let's say like so. Based on Flavio Corti's, this one. Good. I'm going to give good attributions. And maybe a separate sentence. Okay, and then the next one would be the big DNS patch, which I think we did have a local version. Yeah. Mail remote. eDNS response size. Based on this is really important stuff for notqmail. We've always been promising and gradually delivering on the idea that all the different patches that people have had to find for themselves or write for themselves and stitch into their source code for their bespoke installation of Qmail should over time become less and less necessary and ultimately hopefully not necessary as our maintained software grows enough of the features. So when we took a patch that people will have been using, you got to make sure they know, because otherwise they're going to have trouble doing the upgrade. They still have other patches. They still have this patch. They should drop this one. Christopher K. Davis's this one. Good. Uh, huh, that looks okay. What was this one about? Also Qmail remote, but what? Qmail remote. Add additional groups. What does that mean? What is the change? Oh, we should also say something in here about all the CI platforms we're currently building. Not exactly CI, so I don't want to call it CI. CI, continuous integration, uh, is not a thing that servers do. It's a thing that people and teams do. So I just want to say auto build, and that'll be clear enough. So the main thing that happened here, the reason I thought of that is because I don't think we may not have specifically had a commit for this or a PR for this, but we have a commit for this. So I want to just look before we release at what are all the builds that we have and make sure that we have listed them here. And yeah, put that on platforms. We have a page called platforms, so maybe that's the place to do it, is release by release, show what runners we have up here. Release notes are going to be big enough. So this is the commit that I want to understand. Common patches add, for example, DKIM signing or TLS encryption for remote processes, Qmail remote processes. So the key material had to belong to the Qmail group, which every program in Qmail belongs to, or make them world readable. Okay, I'm following this. So we're saying when Qmail rspawn is run, and that's the program that's going to run Qmail remote, so it's going to inherit any group memberships. When Qmail send starts Qmail rspawn, as the Qmail R user, make sure we get all the group memberships that the Qmail R user might have. This is handy. I wonder if we should document this more. But maybe it's just intuitive where it wasn't intuitive before. So where is that? Groups. How would I call this? I would say email remote. Um, memberships of the email are user. Is that saying enough? Not really. Like we need some documentation. So that I need to give it like a so that. So what? Join group memberships, but so what? So that, for instance, um, so that for instance, I like this idea. Yeah. So that for instance, the TLS or DKIM key material can be readable by more precise, made more precisely readable. And come on, words. So that, for instance, read permissions can be expressed more precisely. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think that gives the flavor. I like the idea here, and I maybe want to make sure to. Mm, should we document particular ways to use this? So Ika is probably using it because he made this patch. And these are cool use cases. So I maybe want to come back to that. So many rabbit holes in this process. Okay. I did say more about the implications. That's what I wanted to do. I only have about 10 more minutes for this right now, so let's keep going. I have a lot of CI. Maybe make that a subsection. How many levels of heading was it? Reduce marginal cost. Auto builds. Yeah. Okay, we did say add OpenBSD runner. So anywhere it says CI, replace that with not anything. Capitalize, capitalize. Oop. So now we have a little auto build subsection of that. Okay. So service CI has been updated a couple times and then probably removed. What's the story there? When we coalesce those, they should get shorter. Used to be in Cirrus. Excuse me. Is it still there? I guess so. Okay, we do still have Cirrus. I couldn't remember that. So I guess that's real. You have a bunch of Solaris. We have some Travis. Happened here. Travis has been removed. I kind of just want to say update Cirrus CI, remove Travis CI, and then updates, updates, updates. But maybe I'll just leave it like this. Remove Travis CI. Solaris. Add Solaris. Update Solaris. Fix Solaris. So probably these work well in numerical order, at least among themselves. Looks a little bit incoherent to me, but leave it. Mm. Guess I could do it by category also. So like I could say Solaris add 206 fix 231, right? Um, and update 242, and then just repeat some of that for, those numbers are not exclusively those things. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up in a few minutes, but I think I like this idea. And then, like, each platform gets its own story, even when some of the chapters are shared. FreeBSD, update 16. Which one is that? 25? $235. Both of them. 125, 216, 235. Right? That could be good. OpenBSD. What happened for OpenBSD? Add 242. That's it. Ubuntu. Those two. Update libcheck. And then plain old update system. Update libcheck was 231. Update system was 240. Okay. What's 181 talking about? Extend usage of blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, right. No, this is very well described now that I remember what it is. Right, we have different variations. We added Mac OS. That's right. Been in 181. Okay. Then over here, I will say Travis CI remove. And that's 207, 216. Okay, this is starting to make sense to me. Let's merge what we have. Can't quite think of a shortcut here. I kind of want to, maybe I can think of one. Yeah. Okay. I don't want to be retyping a lot. That's what I'm saying. I want to, I guess it's good enough like this. Look for number. No. All right, let's just do this. I can get there. Yeah. And I'll close them all in a minute. And 25 and 235 are accounted for. Yeah, I think that's right. 216, 207. Yeah. Okay. Travis CI remove, previously update. Okay, so add Solaris was there. 231 should be both Solaris and Ubuntu. OpenBSD is 242, and Solaris should also have a 242. Update Ubuntu. Yeah, good enough. Okay, now I gotta close them. So at least when I have multiples, that's those. Whoop, almost. Better. Okay, and then end of line. So that's a little finicky. Let's see how I did. Yes, I like the shape of that. Auto build platform, stop doing it. FreeBSD, update. macOS, add. OpenBSD, add. Solaris, add. Versions would be nice. But again, that maybe that belongs in the platforms page when we say what version was it at the time of that release. Yeah. I'm going to wrap up here. Platforms and versions. We're currently auto building. So that has to be where the stream ends for today. As you can see, this is not glamorous, glorious work, but it is important because we have a lot of change, and I want it to be, maybe it won't quite be glanceable. Maybe it's too much, but I would like it to be as glanceable as it can be. And for that, it needs to be organized. And I feel strongly about it, especially the kind of software that this is. Um, the job of doing it well and safely, I think, is not 100% synonymous, but very overlapping with attention to these kinds of details. We cannot handwave things in a system with this reputation and with this implementation language. We have to be really careful and we have to be really sure. And I think that should extend to communicating the changes that we have made. I think that's part of what earns us and keeps us trust. So I'm going to continue to work on this so that it is organized and tells the story in time for our stream on Thursday. And on Thursday, again, the plan on Thursday is with these release notes complete and with our self-hosted website and with the help of one of my fellow notqmail developers and maybe another special guest, I will stream the process of cutting the release of notqmail 1.09. So let's pick it up there on Thursday. Thanks for watching and see you then.